It's like he stole a car or something.
He did. He did.
Ha 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 ha.
But wait, Jared, I got a story for you, Alan. Where's the music?
All right. So thank you for coming and joining us here live for the Real Short Box. My name is Donald, and the gentleman to my be my right for you guys is one Mr. Chris Turner. We're doing some quick introductions. Below, of course, is Kevin and Darren, and over in that corner is the one, the only Jarrett. So, and of course, this is the Real Short Box live. And we are discussing a sci-fi showdown where the audience can vote and actually choose who they want, what they want in this bracket. So as far as we've chosen these 16 films, and then we're going to be narrowing it down as the audience chooses. And at some point, we might have to decide. And that's why we brought in Chris, because we can never, we're always split 50-50, so we need the guy to put us over the edge here to just pull the trigger and say, hey, it's this one. And that's the film it'll be. So
he's the fall guy. He's the fall guy. So you want to be mad at someone? Or be mad at Chris?
Right. Yeah. Perfect choice, right? So anyway, I'm going to do a little things here in the background, and why I do that. Darren and the boys want to discuss a few films that did not make it and kind of got disappointed by that. And I think Chris has some thoughts on that as well. So go ahead, boys. I'm going to start doing this.
So I'm going to go ahead and start out here. I think that, it's always bad karma to start the podcast off by trashing your own podcast. But whoever made this list, the thing is we obviously put these lists together, and I just feel like if you're going to put a science fiction list together and not have 2001: A Space Odyssey on it, then it's really hard to just, this is like the original sci-fi movie in the sense that I've seen endless films be inspired by 2001, and it's also quite possibly the most intellectual of science fiction films ever made. So I'm a little disappointed that when we put everything together that this one didn't make a final, but it should not be forgotten because after all, its legacy and its greatness are unrivaled.
I agree. Stanley Kubrick is pissed at us for doing that, and he has the right to be pissed at us beyond the grave. And let me, on behalf of the Real Short Box, apologize to you, Mr. Kubrick, for not having this movie on the list.
And then you can apologize to us, Mr. Kubrick, for faking the moon landing. Thank you.
Whoa. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah, you did it at Paramount.
Yeah.
Mr. Jarrett.
I will say, just to get out of the way here, we had people on these lists before who have voted and wanted certain movies in. We've obviously been doing all Star Wars this month, and Star Wars is science fiction. I am going to tell you, I fought, but I had to concede because there is spacism here. That's right, there's some dirty spaces. I will say that there will be no Star Wars films in any of these brackets because
Blame Donald.
It's just too biased.
Blame Donald.
Yeah.
It's just tipped too heavy in Star Wars' direction, and I felt that it would just win hands down. I mean, Star Wars is such a phenomenally pop culture important film for so many people, and we're talking spanning from the 70s until now. That's what, almost 50 years of Star Wars?
Almost 45.
Yeah, so we're talking about a lot of time. So not only is it you, it's now with The Mandalorian, it's your children. And not only that, it's your mother. And not only that, it's your grandmother. And they all love it. So it just felt like it's an institution, and it's too high of a caliber series to be included in this. And that's a compliment for Star Wars.
Donald, why don't you be honest? You're just jealous of the Force.
Oh, I'm strong with the Force, Kevin.
We're doing specifically science fiction films, and I think if we were to do this with fantasy films, we might have to exclude Lord of the Rings because that would be kind of in the Star Wars realm of, kind of the pinnacle of fantasy films, and It might not be fair. So if we want to have
Right.
a balanced one, we might have to take that out. And also, having said that, there was a movie that was talked about, and I'd be interested to hear the audience's take on this, and this kind of genre, if you would consider it sci-fi. And that was we were talking about Mad Max films. And now my argument is that I don't think they are science fiction. I
I've
think
posted.
they're more of a
I've posted. I'm sorry to
Posted.
interrupt.
I think they're more of a dystopian wasteland kind of, which has become its own genre, in my opinion. So those are
Right.
not on the list.
That
as
was
well.
that was another tough one that we were like, do we do that? Because then, like, Waterworld falls into that category, and Waterworld
Yep.
doesn't feel like science fiction. It just feels like an apocalyptic adventure story. But if we're including other things like Mad Max, then we should include Waterworld, because Waterworld is something that I think you don't see a Mad Max show at Universal Studios. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
You see the Miami Vice show, which became the Waterworld show.
But
Right.
but here's the thing. So I grew up with Mad Max. We have to remember that Mad
Uh-oh.
Max was kind of one of its kind. It was only one of its kind for a very lengthy amount of time until we got CGI and were able to
Exactly.
kill the world twice every summer. To me, Mad Max is very much a science fiction film. I do think that Road Warrior is probably the most accurate because in some ways it's exaggerated, of course. But
Mhm.
remember, there was an oil crisis in 1982. Like, this was a
True.
reality of what may happen. So I feel like Mad Max does make you think, but it's more visually like creative and a great world that's being built. And I could see the argument because there are fantasy elements to it. Obviously, like what they do
Right.
with cars in that movie are completely unrealistic.
Hey, gentlemen, Enrique popped in. He says, hey, guys. So, hey, Enrique, thanks for joining us. There's a
Thank
few
you
other
for
people
joining
that
us,
just popped
Enrique.
in that they haven't said hello yet. But one important person said hello besides Enrique, and that would be my mother. So, everybody, if you could say hello to my mother, I would appreciate that.
How you doing, Mrs. McKinney?
How you doing, Mr. McKinney?
Hello, hello.
And,
Hi,
and
Mr. McKinney.
we have a special message for you, Mom, today since it is your birthday. My mom is turned 50 years old. She's very young.
No, I thought you told me she turned 40.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, because I'm older than my mother.
Yes.
That'd be weird. So Kevin, or who? I don't know. I'm just gonna go with. Okay, so all at once, guys. You ready? And in the order we practice, go. Oh man. Okay, so back down. Okay, so we go. Kevin, Darren, Chris, and Jarrett.
All right.
All at once. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Kevin, Darren, Chris, and Jarrett, go. Happy birthday, Mom. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. So, it is my mother's birthday today, so we're doing that, and that's everybody took the time to do that for you, so it's very sweet. So, thank you, Mom.
I did smiley faces. See that? There's one.
Oh, you did.
Two.
You have a diamond for the dot there. And I would assume that Mrs. McKinney is also quite a fan of science fiction.
She is. A few of her choices had to make it into our brackets. I will say that part of my reasoning for some of these is because they're some of her favorites. So there are a few surprises in here for her. I told her that I'm going to pepper in that she'll notice when they pop up. And speaking of popping up, Austin Fox popped in. He says hello. Maria says hello. Bonnie says happy birthday, Miss McKinney. So that's nice. Thank you, Bonnie.
Now, Chris, was there a film in particular you wanted to discuss you're disappointed was off the list?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that one of the movies that have come out, I don't know, in the last 10 or 15 years that I thought was probably one of the best science fiction movies I've seen in a very long time was Snowpiercer.
That was on our. We had a huge list, and that was there at one point. I will say.
And I was like, man, the one movie I was saying earlier that I thought could have been replaced, should have been replaced with that one. I was like, because it's one of my favorite. But again, it might fit into what you guys were saying and being in more of a dystopian, post-apocalyptic type movie. But at the same time, it's about a train that runs forever on energy, so that it's very science
Yeah.
fiction. So
Here's the problem with that, Chris, is that a movie that showed up by a television series based off the same thing doesn't really have a qualification, in my opinion. If you haven't seen the series, I believe it was on TNT, it's actually quite good.
season premiere was tonight. It was very good.
Yeah, I highly recommend it for those that haven't seen it. Snowpiercer, the series. For those that weren't on board for the movie, this really fleshes it out. This really gives you the structure of the hierarchy on the train cars and the urgency that some of these passengers feel and how they feel that they've been treated. And it's very classist and very good, very well done, very long narration as far as like it's telling a good story, in other words.
Yeah, and I mean that's an interesting choice. I mean, Snowpiercer, you know, of course people are going to have their indifferences about it, but I think at least on a visual level and it's just sheer imagination, it deserves a lot of props for that. Like when I saw it the first time, I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. And of course, you know, I am a huge fan of Ed Harris. As he's gotten older, unfortunately, he's been doing less work. But Ed Harris, of course, is fantastic in this. And yeah, I mean, it's got everything from really like kind of, you know, like they're eating bugs to like big martial arts kung fu style fights. It's crazy stuff. It's got raves. Yeah. Interesting choice, Chris. Kevin, is there one on this list you'd prefer to see?
I thought about Ex Machina.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was a pretty good movie. Especially involving, you know, androids and that, what's her name? Iskander, I can't say her name right. I think she's like from Sweden, the actress.
Oh, Alicia Vikander.
Thank you, Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
But she did a good job playing that android. And interesting enough, they took two guys who would later be put in the Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, a few months later, but just in reverse roles between the hero and the villain. So, if anything, that was actually, in some respects, a better movie. But I really liked it. That was a very good movie, a good character development between all three characters.
Hey, Donald, you know what I just stopped to think about? You know, last year I saw one of your more favorite sci-fi movies you had recommended, Upgrade.
Ah, yes. Upgrade is phenomenal. It didn't make the list because it's relatively, in my mind, it's new. It's too new, maybe. And it hasn't gotten that love that it deserves, so I felt like it would just be blown out of the water completely, like right away. So I was like, let's not do that. But Upgrade, yeah, Upgrade's a phenomenal film. Highly recommend that one for those that haven't seen it. Sammy popped in. She said, "Hey guys," and then she said, "Wait, it's your mom's birthday?" And yes, Sammy, it's my mom's birthday. Julio says, "I'm here, guys. Nothing to worry about." Thanks, Julio. We appreciate you popping in, as always. And yes. Kevin, we know the bi-weekly. We got it.
Yes, bi-weekly, of course.
I was saying
of course.
but yeah.
Yeah, we just wait for it. We don't even wait for it now. We just jump the gun. We're going to wait for just a couple more people to pop in, and then we're going to get started on the bracket, and we're going to get started on the battle here. It's a 16, right there in 16-seed bracket.
Yeah, it's basically it would be what you'd consider a quarter bracket for the NCAA tournament. We've got, normally you would have 64, but naturally to name 64 movies going head to head would take for friggin' ever. Plus, right. You know, some outsiders would get in there like Pluto Nash or something of that nature.
Right. We don't.
Or Moontrap with Walter Koenig.
Weird science. That's true.
Hey,
like
Darren,
good.
Is Katie's Kate 6284?
She is.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Katie. She says hello, everybody.
She's going to vote live tonight, guys.
Hello.
That's awesome. Okay. And anybody, again, that wants to vote that's unable to vote, you can reach out to us via Facebook Messenger. If you know our personal accounts, you can personally text us if you want. That's fine as well. And so we can always, add to it. I've had a few people that are like, I can't make it. I really want, to vote for this one when it pops up. Let me know, and then we can do that. So that's no problem. Always know that in future ones too when we do these. We haven't done one of these in a little bit. It's been probably like a month and a half since we've done one of these battles.
2 months. For about 2 months.
So we figured it was time to bring it back. It's always a fun one. Everybody seems to always have a good time. So we're going to get started here momentarily. Anything in the realm of one thing I had trouble with when we were doing. Oh, Raphael Roris says, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Hey Raphael, good to see you. One thing I had trouble with when it came to science fiction was I wanted to do an animated science fiction movie and put that in there, but there's not a lot of, in my eyes, that I could remember anyway, of really quality contenders besides something like a WALL-E, which we've already done in the Pixar's. Right. Darren?
The North Star is a great one.
You know what? Two that immediately popped in my head were Titan AE and Heavy Metal.
Mm-hmm. And Fist of the North Star, Akira.
Akira, yeah.
Which I've never seen, so I wouldn't know that one. But the Eon Flux, which was a movie that wasn't animated, was an animated TV series, so I couldn't really have that. Right. Bonnie thought maybe Iron Giant, but Iron Giant I think is more of like a fantasy, like not even a fantasy. I don't know. It's got a robot.
Science fiction for sure. I could definitely see that.
We could have probably done that one, and I apologize because I didn't think of that one, Bonnie. I'm sorry. I did think of Titan AE and I did think of Heavy Metal, but I thought those two would just get crushed. You know what I mean? Like, and would you face one with the other? They just attack each other. They're just two starkly different films like that to come at each other. You know, it didn't thematically make sense. So I didn't put any animated ones in, but know that I wanted to. That was something that I thought about.
There's a lot that are not in here because we had to keep it to a 16 bracket, and we also wanted to keep it interesting as far as like not everything that would be super predictable.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bonnie. I disappointed you.
I wanted to share with the audience here. When we do our matchups, they're actually themed matchups. What's really neat about science fiction is it's not just like one all-encompassing genre. It has a lot of subsets to it, and some of these subsets have been created during the genre. Like you see something that comes out, you'll never think about it. It's like, oh my gosh, this mixed with this mixed with that. And I'm not going to say which because I want to kind of keep it a surprise for everybody. But all of our matchups are themed matchups. Like they're not going to be just like, for lack of a better term, it's not going to be, Pluto Nash versus Steel Dawn. I mean,
you really wanted Pluto Nash, I think, Darren. I think that was something that you really wanted.
You know what Nick told me is that even those 64 teams make the tournament, there's still 4 teams that have to play in to get into the 64-team tournament. So there'd be even more movies, and Pluto Nash is going to get there eventually.
Yeah, you're right, I guess. Sherlock Holmes says, "What's up from We Can Be Heroes?" I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is, Kevin?
I wonder if it's Will. I don't know if it's Will or if it's Aiden. Not sure.
Yeah.
Identify yourself.
I don't know.
Take off your mask.
So it looks like we can probably start getting started here since we're running. We're starting to burn candle time, I guess you could say.
All right.
Daylight. So we're going to start with, first of all, I'm going to pull up some pictures. Darren, I know you sent me an image of the first of the seeds that you have. Are we going to go from the top left?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start from the top left.
Okay, give me one moment to bring up those pictures.
So Pluto Nash versus...
well, I said Steel Dawn, which is a great Patrick Swayze post-apocalyptic medieval-style war movie.
Nice.
You don't know Steel Dawn?
No, I know Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze.
I'm just going to throw in a boy and his dog with Don Johnson,
We've got our first picture up, which is the Men in Black one. And the second film, Darren?
Galaxy Quest. And this is going to represent science fiction comedy.
All right. So we have Galaxy Quest versus Men in Black, everybody. So this is the science fiction comedy kind of adventure. We have good and bad for both. I will say Men in Black pretty much made Will Smith, it cemented his career as a superstar. It was a smash hit, huge smash hit, based off a comic book. So like I said, we're never 1 or 2 steps away from the comic book world. Men in Black is based off of a comic book. Galaxy Quest was a fantastic Star Trek kind of a ripoff
It was
comedy.
a spoof, right?
Right, basically. With Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, and Tim Allen. And even Sam Rockwell was in this as well, yeah.
That's how I was first introduced to him, and I was like, this guy's great. Like, who the hell is this guy?
Right.
And then the mustache.
Okay, so Katie says that her parents are having issues with their commenting, so she's going to put their answers too. That's fine, Katie. Thank you.
I have an answer as well from someone who texted me when you're ready to start tabulating.
Okay.
So we'll take some time to accrue your votes, but like Men in Black, I really like Men in Black. I feel like it has aged and faded over the years a little bit, but my most memorable stuff is obviously Tommy Lee Jones. His dry humor is priceless, but my personal favorite is still Vincent D'Onofrio as Edgar. Just a completely bizarre but really unique performance, and it really took sci-fi comedy, I think, to another level.
Sugar in water. It was great.
Chris, feel free to jump in, man.
I mean, for me, I feel like it's hard to really compare the two because they're so different aspects of comedy. Like I said, one, like somebody else said, one was kind of a parody, satire of science fiction, and so it has a lot of tropes that kind of make fun of science fiction, as opposed to Men in Black lean into the science fiction for their jokes. And so I feel like even though they're both like science fiction comedy movies, I feel like it's kind of hard to compare the two, as like they are such opposite ends of the spectrum in that sci-fi comedy. That being said, Galaxy Quest still makes me laugh more. So if that means anything for you voters out there.
We've got a few pop-ins. We've got really quick. We have Anthony says hello. Hello, Anthony.
What's up, Anthony?
TJ popped in, so howdy, TJ. And Arm Fall Off Boy is here, so thanks for joining us, Arm Fall Off Boy. Julio, of course. Evan joined us, so Evan, thank you for popping in here. We'll be happy to take your vote on Galaxy Quest versus Men in Black when you're ready, Evan. And same thing with you, Anthony.
Kevin, did you have any remarks about our two films here?
You know what? I can't really add much to it. I mean, you're right about Men in Black. After Independence Day, Men in Black just sealed the deal for Will Smith's career, and it's just took off. You know, he built his career off like 3 sci-fi films besides Bad Boys that really made him a superstar. And then Galaxy Quest, you know, Tim Allen, a man that you have worked with in the past. You know, you can't go wrong there. And also one of the great comics from the 90s and to the present. So personally, if I had to make a choice, I would probably take Men in Black, but of course the audience will decide.
So, question I have for all of you.
Decide they will. Yeah.
Will any of you be bold enough to admit that you liked a Men in Black sequel?
Well, Rosario Dawson was in the second one. I like that.
Yeah, she was in the second one.
I think I've only seen the second one, so...
They did a 4th one, didn't they?
Yeah, I just saw that one, Donald. Men in Black International. I mean, it's like there's nothing about it to hate, but it's just standard issue fodder.
Yeah, it's not. I think it was bad casting, to be honest. Chris Hemsworth, it doesn't fit. He doesn't fit in that world, and it just didn't make. It didn't make sense. Like unless he was going to play this straight guy, and that's not his role in life. It doesn't seem.
I just realized it was also the Valkyrie actress, too, right?
Tessa Thompson. She was very forgettable as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the votes. We're going to move on these, or we're going to be here all night. So let's see here. We have.
Do you want to wait until you? I'm sorry. Do you want to wait until you get all the votes from the comment section, and then add whatever we get from text messages?
No, we'll add the text messages after. Okay. So Kevin, you'll count the Galaxy Quest, and Jarrett, you'll count Men in Black. Okay.
Deal.
All right. So 1 for Men in Black from Sammy. Bonnie votes Men in Black. Raphael votes Galaxy Quest. Austin votes Men in Black. TJ votes Galaxy Quest. Katie votes Men in Black. Maria votes Men in Black. My mother votes Galaxy Quest. Katie's mom votes Galaxy Quest. Enrique votes Galaxy Quest. Arm Fall Off Boy votes Galaxy Quest all the way. Katie's dad votes Men in Black. That kind of evened out, I guess. Let's see. Sammy's sister says Galaxy Quest, and she says, ugh. My sister says Galaxy Quest. Well, too bad, Sammy. Janet popped in. Hey, Janet, thanks for joining us. Bonnie says Part 3 is fantastic. Very 12 Monkey-esque ending to Men in Black, so she liked it. Anthony says Men in Black, and Janet says Galaxy Quest. So where are we right now with those?
Could I add additional vote for Men in
Not
Black?
yet. Let's hear what we have from the people on here.
7 Men in Black.
How many Galaxy Quest, Kevin?
I have 8 for Galaxy Quest.
Okay, now add your votes, Kevin. You have 1?
Yeah, I have 1 for Men in Black. I received a text message from.
So we're 8
That's
and 8.
8.
Anybody else receive any? No? So we're tied officially. Anybody in the comment section would like to vote, cast their vote on which film they would prefer winning this?
If you don't, the Supreme Court's going to have to kick in.
Yes, we
Janet
are.
vote? 'Cause she came in late. Did she vote?
Yes, she did.
She did? Okay.
Who?
Janet.
So we'll have to give
did she? Yes, she did. She voted Galaxy Quest.
Okay. So
we'll have
8.
to give like a 15 or 20-second deal here for votes.
Yep. Let me see if I can bring the timer up. I can't guarantee, but I will try for that. So give me one moment.
Okay, hold on. My mother says Men in Black.
Your mom says Men in Black. Okay, so we've got 9 to 8.
What about your dad?
What about my dad? Yes.
I really want the Supreme Court to kick in. I really do. I'm sorry, Chris. I really want you to be put on the spot tonight.
Mom, what does my dad vote for? What does Dad vote for? Does he have a vote, or is that the communal vote? We'll check and see here. Right now we're 8 and 9, right?
9, 8 for Men in
8.
Black.
Mom says my dad says Galaxy Quest, so that's 9-9.
We're tied.
All right,
We're tied
Mr.
again.
Manel, Dad votes Return of the Jedi.
Yes, 3.
No help.
Always a smart aleck, that guy. Arm Fall Off Boy says Galaxy Quest has more rewatchability. Time is up. We are going with the Supreme Court vote. Everybody, Chris, you hold off on your vote. The 4 of us are going to vote first, and then you'll be the tiebreaker if there needs to be one. So who is voting for Galaxy Quest? Mom, I'm voting with you, and it's your birthday. I have to. I feel like it's just what I have to do.
Oh, no. We're
So
going to
that
have
means-
Chris Miller.
So that means we have a tie because obviously Kevin and Darren are voting for Men in Black. So it is on you, Chris. Right away, right off the bat.
Right away.
You're going to be the villain of this. Who are you voting for?
So
What
say
film?
it, so
You're the
say it,
hero.
Chris.
All right, so I'm gonna vote this movie because of one particular cast member. The movie is actually let me give you the cast member. Alan Rickman,
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any movie
Galaxy
with Alan Rickman
Quest.
could be any other movie. So
I can't believe this.
Mr. Potter.
Wow.
Here's the, maybe Galaxy Quest it's a little more popular than I think people think. Honestly, I think if you're a real movie person, you really remember Galaxy Quest. I think there's a lot of people like me that saw it once and forgot about it, but there are a lot of people out there that really, got attached to it. So I guess
Yeah.
I'm not shocked, but I kind of am because Men in Black's pretty legendary.
Yeah.
By what is it? By
Whatever.
Throngar's hammer or something? I will avenge you. Isn't that what he says in Galaxy Quest?
I don't know.
It is a
anyway,
fun
yeah,
film,
look for
and
the
you know
next
what,
one.
guys? I might actually watch it tonight afterwards, just to enjoy it because it is such a fun film. So let's move on. We're gonna move on quickly, everybody. Julio, you were too late. Julio threw in his vote at the last second, and he said Galaxy Quest as well. So it would have been Galaxy Quest no matter what. So no one has to feel bad on that. Let's go with the next one in our bracket. Let me pull up the pictures here real quick.
Oh, this is good.
I'm going to go. If you don't mind, Donald, could I just say what they are?
Yeah, if you want to do that, then I can pull them up.
Great. So our next matchup is going to be a battle of science fiction, satire / social commentary. We're going to have RoboCop versus Starship Troopers.
And either way, Paul Verhoeven wins.
The Dutchman.
Yeah.
Special guest, Chris, your thoughts on RoboCop and Starship Troopers?
Oh man, I remember. You're talking the original RoboCop, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. All right, so
Yeah.
I remember RoboCop. It was like one of the first. It was actually probably one of the first movies I'd ever seen, like in the movie theater.
And you're from Detroit, right?
Oh, well, I'm a little north there, yeah. My brother took me to the movie. He worked at the movie theater. He took me to see these movies, these R-rated movies, and I was like, he's like, it's about a cop, that's a robot. It's gonna be really cool. I remember being so terrified when he gets like killed. That violent like shooting scene at the beginning, and I remember being terrified of the robot thing at the end, like when Eddie fights. Like, however, I don't feel the movie holds up that well. I've gone back and rewatched it, and the graphics, I was like, wow, like that gruesome gunning down scene at the beginning is still pretty hardcore. Because, that's not special effects and stuff like that. That's pretty good. But when that, I don't remember what they call it, when the mech thing comes out, it's so cheesy and so bad. And it almost takes you out of the movie. But you know what? It's still a lot of fun. And it's always going to have a place in my heart because not a lot of movies take place in Detroit. Even if it is like showing how bad Detroit really is. And so for that, I will always love the movie.
Kevin, you have thoughts on either RoboCop or Starship Troopers?
I do remember them both being very graphic, especially Starship Troopers. Those insects kind of creep me out. The way they were just killing people, troopers left and right, especially like the fire ants. That was pretty gruesome. Oh my goodness. But yeah, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Kevin.
No, that was it. Yeah, it's just both. Paul Verhoeven is known for his graphic depictions of violence in his movies.
Yeah. Whether it be, I love to say the name Casper Van Dien, but RoboCop holds it, once again, one of those films that my parents, for some reason, let me go see, and then let me go see again for my birthday, and bring a friend. I don't know. It was the 80s, but yeah, that film, completely was like, oh, cool, like a RoboCop. And then you start out with this cop being like brutally massacred, and these guys like laughing about it, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? Yet still thought it was the best, and talked about it the next day.
Didn't somebody from RoboCop pass away not too long ago? I think one of the actors in there had passed away.
Not that I'm aware of.
Was it the older guy? Oh no, I know who passed away. What's his name? George Clooney's cousin. Oh God. The guy he was in. He always played the dick in movies. Oh God, what is his name? Had like a Spanish last name, I think.
Yes. Jesus, I know who you're talking about too. I see his face.
He was in Twin Peaks. He was in
Miguel
Ferrer.
Thank you. Yes.
He passed away some years ago from I think he had like throat or like oral cancer.
He plays a real big. He plays a real big jerk in that. In RoboCop, he's not a good man. And when he passed, the main actor in RoboCop, Peter
Weller.
Peter Weller came out and did a Q&A for it. And they did it at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood. And I went to that. and he said that he was never going to do another like Q&A for RoboCop. He was done with that movie. He's so over it. He's been doing it since the 80s. He's tired of it. He's like, I'm done with RoboCop. I don't care. But he said Miguel passed, and he said, I want to honor that, and I want to honor him. And he said, so I came out to do this, and I thought that was real stand-up-ish of him to do that in his memory. And it was a nice, very nice Q&A. Everybody was polite for once and didn't ask the dumbest questions in the world. So it ended up being a very nice Q&A, and he gave him some actually informative information, believe it or not. But I was just throwing that out there.
So I'm going to take on both these movies. What I kind of feel like they have in common, they're both really assaults on your sensitivities in many ways. Starship Troopers, since we didn't cover that one too much, the use of futuristic style media propaganda imagery is really strong in that. I personally found it rather offensive when I first saw it, even as a teenager, when I noticed like Doogie Howser was dressed in a very Nazi stormtrooper kind of look. Like the idea of service guaranteeing citizenship. Like what's weird is, so I feel like the movie got half of the book right and half of it like really wrong. Right. The idea of what you put into society, you get out, there's some, I can see where they're going with that. But where Starship Troopers got completely over the top was just the imagery was just wacky. All the stuff with the media propaganda was pretty wacky. Although, Denise Richards and Dina Meyer are obviously smoking hot. And then I remember they had like co-ed showers, which I found was kind of a weird futuristic take. But obviously my buddy, what's his name? Michael Ironside was fantastic. And then the guy who plays the head guard in Shawshank Redemption, he plays the Kurgan in Highlander. His name's escaping me at the moment. Very great. I love that moment when he says, if we're in a nuke battle, how are we going to stop them? How's a knife going to help? And he said, put your hand on the wall. He throws the knife through his hand and he says, how can you fire a nuke if you disable the opponent's hand?
Are you talking about Clancy Brown? Was he in there?
Thank you, Clancy Brown, yeah.
Okay.
So I think they're very unique movies. To me, they're kind of hard to sit through because they're very offensive, but they're kind of brilliant too in many ways. So.
Yeah, they're both really, really enjoyable. Starship Troopers, I think the animated monster creature things look a little bit rough now. Like, not as good as they used to, of course. But the fun is still there, and the cast is fun. It's a fun romp, so to speak. So let's go ahead and get started on this vote so we can see. Everybody that hasn't commented yet, you can vote in the chat on YouTube Live. Reach out and say which film do you want to go on into the next bracket. Do you want Starship Troopers to move on or RoboCop? One or the other is going to be eliminated. So let's go ahead and start counting these votes. Kevin, you're very robotic in your responses at times, so we're going to go you do RoboCop. And Jarrett, we're going to have you do Starship Troopers. So Julio right out of the gate said RoboCop, bitches. Enrique says RoboCop. Katie says her mom, and her dad all say 3 for RoboCop. So we're not giving you much work here, Jarrett. Anthony says Starship Troopers. Bonnie says Starship Troopers. Sammy says my dog Lando was just staring at the computer while I held him. Well, that's good that we're entertaining your dog Lando. Maria says Starship Troopers as well. My mom says Starship Troopers, and my dad says Starship Troopers. So it's catching up a bit. Hey, David Denenberg popped in. Hey, David, thanks for joining us.
What's up, David?
He says RoboCop. Starship Troopers would get my vote for best worst movie ever. Okay, fair enough. Sammy says RoboCop. Raphael says RoboCop. Austin says Starship Troopers. TJ says Starship Troopers. Arm Fall Off Boy says RoboCop. Janet says RoboCop. And David says, Darren always bringing the political hot takes. So we've got way more votes. We've got way more votes for Starship Troopers than I thought, to be honest. But where are we standing here? Kevin, where do you have?
I have 10 votes for RoboCop so far.
7 for Starship Troopers.
Okay. So, anybody else get votes? Kevin, did you get any texts? Darren, anybody?
Yes.
I'm waiting for one.
Yeah. My mother is RoboCop. My dad is Starship Troopers. And plus, my dad is one of the few people I've ever met that has seen a sequel to Starship Troopers, so he is a true fan.
Nice.
Very nice.
You know they have an animated one that's not bad.
Of Starship Troopers?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think I
it's
saw
pretty
it
good.
at one point. Yeah.
See, what I like about Starship Troopers, too, is they use the same exterior shot over and over again. Because the bugs cross exactly the same way on the camera. It's pretty amazing.
Didn't they do a RoboCop Saturday morning cartoon too?
Yeah.
Which just how did they're like it's a rated R film, but we're gonna make it a cartoon.
It's like a pretty dirty rated R film. I mean, do you remember part 2 when they took Kane's brain out of his head?
Uh-huh.
By the way, RoboCop 2 is like maybe the most unjustifiably long movie in the history of the world. It's like over 2.5 hours of nothing.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, I've changed the clock. I've added the clock at the top of the screen here over the short box. I'm going to put it next to Chris, actually. We're about 23 seconds left for people to vote. So go ahead and cast your vote as quickly as you can, or
Where are
we
you
are
at?
going to be time up.
Still at 10. Still at 10. No extra votes coming
So
yet.
we're 10 to, what is your score, Jarrett?
8.
8. So 10 to 8. Okay, and time is up.
All right.
Sammy says at the last second she got in right before the clock ended. She said, my sister is dead to me. She said Starship Troopers. Sammy, it didn't matter. She didn't win. It's still 10 to 9. That is way closer than I ever thought it would be, guys. I'm really shocked at this. Starship Troopers is rightfully eliminated. Sorry, Mom. I think you voted for that one. But,
Coming with me.
She's like you.
I didn't expect Starship to get this kind of love, but
I didn't
mean,
either.
the facts are the facts.
Yep. All right, and we're going to move on to the next seed in our voting here, everybody. So this is going to be exciting.
Interesting.
All right, so we have kind of a sort of a, I don't want to say deep space so much because one of these doesn't quite deal as much as that, but very quirky, kind of offbeat science fiction. We're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy versus Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
That one's for you, Mom. That's one of my mom's favorite of all time science fiction films. So these pictures are way huge. So give me a moment here to try to make these smaller if I can.
Well, I'll start
Okay.
talking.
Kevin gave me an image that's so large I can literally not move it off the screen. So I'm unfortunately going to have to take it down because we can't see anything other than these films. So
You gotta look at us all the time, so it's okay. I don't care to look at our faces all the time.
it's the timer and things like that is going to be the issue. So TJ says I wanted both of them gone, so I voted for the one I thought would lose easier later. That's a good idea, TJ.
Good strategy.
So we have some choices here. Of course, like I said, Star Trek IV is one of my mother's favorites, and it's probably
film.
my favorite Star Trek film as well. It's where they go back in time to San Francisco to record basically or bring a whale, record the sounds. Is it 2 whales? So they can record the
they pick up one
sounds
whale,
because there's like an alien probe that's trying to communicate in the future, and the whales are died off, they're gone, and unless it's able to communicate, it's going to like destroy everything, like all life. And so they're like, oh shit, we have to do this. So they travel back in time into San Francisco in like the 90s, I think it was, like late 80s, early 90s.
The 80s.
And
Yeah.
like, they're on a bus, there's a guy with a boom box and punk hair and
Right,
stuff,
yeah.
and Spock does the thing to him and makes him knock out and everybody's happy. So it's cute, it's topical at the time, a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is probably the best Star Trek film out there. So it's a really great one. The other film,
statement.
yeah, it is a bold statement. The other one being Guardians of the Galaxy. We all know this one and love this one. It's a lot of fun. It's James Gunn's film. He did a hell of a job bringing this ragtag crew of misfits to life and making you care about them and enjoy it. And that's a rare feat for something like that. And we saw that with Suicide Squad. It didn't quite work out. which now they gave him the reins to that, and he's doing his magic on that, and we'll see that eventually as well. So everybody in the chat, please start voting. In the meantime, just a quick, really fast, guys. What do you like about one of them in particular, and then somebody take what they like about the other one, and we'll go like that.
I'll take Guardians. I just, as a comic book fan, I never thought I'd see a Guardians of the Galaxy film. I thought that was like the strangest choice when I heard like that was part of the whole like phase 1 or whatever, and was pleasantly surprised. I hadn't really watched many of James Gunn's films, so I just thought he nailed like a fun kind of throwback to a cool space adventure, and it just happened to be in the Marvel universe. It had like one of the villains I always loved, who I thought was never gonna get any screen time, with Ronan the Accuser. I thought that was so random, with the Kree and everything. I don't know. I just love that film. I thought it was such a weird motley crew of actors, but Dave Bautista, who I'd only known from wrestling, and just Bradley Cooper doing a Rocket Raccoon, and then fucking Groot. Like, it was just so weird and fun for me, and surprising. Like it was one of my favorite of the early Marvel films. So yeah. That's where I am.
Okay.
I'm real quick going to just comment on Star Trek The Voyage Home. So a friend of the show was a producer on this movie, and I think the best compliment I can give to Star Trek The Voyage Home, or something he told me I thought was so interesting, is that film was considered to be such a success that Star Trek V could have never matched the hype it was given. And it was because of the quality of Star Trek 4. So I thought that was a really interesting thing that I heard.
I was able to get the image shrunken down, guys. So yay. We've got it here. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy versus Star Trek 4. And votes are rolling in. I'm going to be honest, guys. It's looking pretty brutal. It's looking like a bloodbath. And I'm not shocked, but I'm surprised, to be honest.
So you don't need Jared or myself for this. You already know what the deal is.
I don't think we're gonna need that, but we can go through it anyway, just to painfully put this to bed. We'll give it another minute, I guess. So I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock here.
I'm not a Star Trek guy. I don't hate it by any stretch, but would you say Wrath of Khan is the most popular of the series?
I would say that. It's probably the most known because, Ricardo Montalban was amazing in the movie. It's known for that chess game between him and Kirk. And a lot of people always make that, it's very quotable. You hear Kirk saying, "Khan!"
Yep.
I think in many ways, Wrath of Khan is the movie that can bring a non-Star Trek person into the series.
Right.
That's probably why it's so well liked.
Right.
And it was based off an episode from the original series called Space Seed, and Ricardo Montalban came back to reprise the role. So, and it made sense too, the way the story was written. To follow up on what happened to his character from years earlier.
Oh, so Montalban was in an episode of the show?
Yes, he was. Back in 1967.
Chris, you want to pop in?
Well, I've only ever seen Guardians. I never saw Wrath of Khan is the only Star Trek movie I've seen besides the first two new J.J. Abrams ones. Yeah. So all I can talk about is Guardians, which I really enjoyed. I'm a huge fan of James Gunn. I've been a fan of him since his Trauma days, doing Tromeo and Juliet.
Of course you were.
Scooby-Doo, Slither. I love Slither. So I knew who he was. Huge fan of his work, and went into Guardians of the Galaxy. Was not disappointed. Definitely has his stamp on the movie. I never thought I'd like a movie with a talking raccoon. Actually, though, I love raccoons, so that's a dumb statement to make. Of course, I would love a movie with a talking raccoon. I think it's hilarious that Vin Diesel is a voice of a talking tree. And I really enjoyed it. I like a lot of the cast in it. Lee Pace, big Lee Pace fan.
Yeah.
And so there really wasn't much to dislike. I mean, I knew nothing about the Guardians when I saw it.
James Gunn wishes he could have directed Star Trek 4. I'm just going to say that. Wishes he could have directed Star Trek 4. And with that, we should jump to the vote, guys. Kevin, you go ahead and do Star Trek. Jarrett, you go ahead and do Guardians, okay?
Yep.
Immediately, Katie says Guardians. Maria says Guardians. Sammy says Guardians. No offense to Kirk and Spock. Sammy, you're shameful. Shame on you. Bonnie says Guardians. I thought I liked you, Bonnie. Katie says Mom says Guardians of the Galaxy. My mother says Star Trek 4. So Kevin's getting some work now. Raphael says Guardians. Natasha says Guardians. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Hey, Natasha.
Enrique says Guardians. TJ says Guardians of the Galaxy, for sure. Austin says Guardians for myself and my sister. Raphael says, if that's not a 1 versus 64 seed, LOL. Katie says, is Star Trek 4 the one with the whales? Yes, it is, Katie. Janet says Guardians. God damn it. Sammy says, I am Groot. David says Guardians. Side question, is Rocket Raccoon Bradley Cooper's best role? I'm probably going to go with
American Sniper.
I'm going to go with Hangover, probably. But that's a close second.
I'm going to go with
says,
what's the star one? That one.
The drunken one. Katie says her dad says Guardians. My dad says Star Trek 4, so that's 2 votes, right, Kevin?
No, three actually.
My mom and dad actually say my mom and dad said Star Trek 4 as well.
Oh, thank God. Your mom and dad have taste. That's great.
Of course.
Katie says, my dad asked, but then you mentioned the whales after. Oh, okay. My mom says, I love them both, but Star Trek 4 is really good. And Natasha says, hey, guys. So she said a response back to us, so we appreciate that, Natasha. Thank you for being active in the chat. We appreciate that. So I don't think we have to take time to do any more voting or anything. This was a bloodbath.
We really should. No.
Sorry, Kirk and Spock.
I forgot to mention, though, on my mother's birthday, one of her votes counts as 20. No? Okay. I tried, Mom. I tried. I'm sorry. So Star Trek 4 lost, but thankfully it lost to a film that she also liked, so we're good with that. So Guardians is the winner.
To lose to.
Right. Guardians is moving on to the next round.
Yeah. We just got my oldest brother's now going to start voting as well.
Okay.
All right, guys,
I think
here we go.
in this next one, real quick, Kevin and Jared, I'm going to give you guys a break, and Darren and Chris, if you guys can keep count on the next round for voting, we can do that. That would be great.
Yeah,
and when you guys are, I know, right? And when you're ready, Darren, I'll put up the films.
Now, this to me should be a really interesting battle. We are going with sci-fi noir here. We are going to take Blade Runner and put it against Dark City.
Ooh.
Now, Kevin, you have a beautiful photo in the background of Dark City, so I wanted to hear what your thoughts are on why Dark City is such a great film.
Dark City, unfortunately, when it came out during Titanic's box office rampage.
God.
But it was a worthy film, a great sci-fi film that I think The Matrix took a little bit from. You have Rufus Sewell, you have Kiefer Sutherland, you have Jennifer Connelly. Great cast.
I can't bring up that image, guys. I'm sorry. It's way too large. It takes the entire... I can't do anything with the screen then.
Kevin's photo in the background should work.
Okay, great. Then I'll put the other image next to him. And it's going against Blade Runner, correct?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just spent half an hour trying to get that image to fit.
But Dark City is a cool sci-fi mystery film. You got to check it out. I don't want to give too much away because it's a pretty cool twist at the end. But you have a city where people are constantly falling asleep due to these aliens, and they always switch the background around. They change their occupation and their class in life. So one day you're a janitor, the next day you're a construction magnate. And you're trying to get down to the mystery as to why the city never has sunlight. It's always dark. But yeah, it's a good film. Check it out, and you'll enjoy it.
I'm going to piggyback off Kevin real quick here with Dark City. Dark City is one of the. I bought 2 DVDs. My first 2 DVDs I ever purchased were Dark City and Unforgiven. Dark City is truly fantastic for people that are into quote unquote true science fiction. Now, the similarities between them and Blade Runner is they really question what it is to be human, and they do it in ways that's incredibly interesting, I think. And when you watch a lot of movies and you don't see a lot of fresh stuff, you just see regurgitations of things over and over again. To watch Dark City and to watch Blade Runner is like watching a movie for the first time. They're so fresh, they're so neat looking, and there's truly really nothing else like them.
No, you're right. They're both very original films. One will put you to sleep, the other will entertain you. I'm not going to tell you which is which. But we'll go from there. Let's start opening up some of the votes here. If everybody in the chat wants to throw on their votes, we are voting the film Dark City with Kiefer Sutherland and Rufus Sewell versus Blade Runner with Harrison Ford and Edward James Olmos.
The replicants versus the strangers.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Daryl Hannah. So
Jared
many good.
and Chris, you want to throw in on Blade Runner a little?
I would totally chime in on Blade Runner. Blade Runner, the best thing about Blade Runner that I can remember is Harrison Ford's haircut. What a great haircut. I love it. Just a cool kind of the Caesar haircut before it was cool again, you know. That's all I got to say about Blade Runner. And Rutger Hauer is great.
I mean, I really love the aesthetic of the movie. I love cyberpunk and anything about that world, and so just purely from an aesthetic perspective, I always really enjoy watching that movie. But I do agree with Donald; it is a great nap movie.
Oh, what a cool building!
So is Blade Runner 2049 even more of a nap movie for you?
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Okay, so I'm going to say
Ryan
something
Gosling
nice.
puts you to sleep.
I'm going to say something nice about Blade Runner, which will make Donald jump up and down, and that's the performance of Rutger Hauer.
Yes. Oh yes.
Rutger Hauer
Yes.
gives one of the finest speeches at the end of the movie because he's like not saying anything, but he's saying everything at the same time, and it's just phenomenal. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe, and it's like
that's when you wake up from the nap.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly the point.
He's on? All right, let's go.
6, 7, go to heaven. Like, I mean, he's fascinating, and I love the guy who plays Daryl on the Bob Newhart show as the toy maker. Like, there's just really intriguing, interesting stuff in Blade Runner. It kind of foresaw something that didn't necessarily happen at the point of the future it's at now, but like the idea of overcrowded cities, an overcrowded Los Angeles, we live here, we know all about that. I never thought the visual, which is amazing, matched the quality of the story, whereas to me, Dark City is like Blade Runner with a better story in many ways. So, like, you know, that's kind of how I always look at it. But they're both good for reasons, you know.
Let's start the count. We're going to get in here.
I want to bet where this is going.
I know I'm not
going to
David says... David says, I think American Hustle is his best work, but Rocket might be second. Also, at Darren, I knew you were riding with American Sniper. Raphael says, Chris, you're going to do Blade Runner. So Raphael says Blade Runner. Darren, you're going to do Dark City. So one for Blade Runner. Katie says, Mom, Dad, and myself all say Blade Runner. And my mom says Blade Runner. Enrique says, damn, I do like them both, but I have to go with Blade Runner. Maria says Blade Runner. Andrew Asher says inserted memories. So I don't know if he's commenting on what was stated earlier or if he is a Dark City fan. But Andrew, we're going to count you for Dark City for now, unless you argue against that. Sammy says Blade Runner. Bonnie says, been a while since I've seen Dark City. Still never seen Blade Runner. Sorry, vote goes to Dark City. Fair enough, Bonnie.
Wow.
I'm kind of offended that Dark City made the contest. It's Blade Runner, says David Denenberg. David, you need to rewatch Dark City.
You're cold-blooded.
You need to rewatch it, sir.
Brother.
Andrew, I was correct. He did vote Dark City. He said Dark City by 3,000, so he did vote for Dark City. Janet Janet says Blade Runner. Let's see. Austin says
damn.
Blade Runner. Adam says, hey Adam, thanks for joining. He says there was a great Blade Runner PC game made by Westwood Studios in the 90s. That I did not know. That's kind of a cool little bit of trivia. Thanks, Adam. Natasha says Blade Runner. My dad says Blade Runner. And somebody that's a little Greek coffee house says Tough Call.
That's Alexi.
So,
Hey, what's up, Alexi?
if Alexi wants to throw his vote, I don't think it's going to matter. But at this point, I'm sorry, Alexi, you can still do it.
Blade
So
Runner versus
we know what you prefer. But Blade Runner's running away with this at this point. If I could throw my sway towards anything, I would, but I can't because I am just a humble announcer here in this podcast. But
Donald, give me some love, brother. Give me Dark City. Would you have voted for it?
Me? Yes, I absolutely would have voted for Dark City. I think Dark City.
My mom and brother also say Blade Runner. Dad did not vote. He did not remember either one, so he doesn't want to.
All right, we're on the clock. 20 seconds. You've got 20 seconds to cast your vote, everybody.
I don't know if there's a point at this point getting a miracle to save this movie.
Yeah, we would need a slew of like 15 votes.
Wait! I just got text from a whole orphanage. They all said Dark City.
Okay, so to top it off, Lexi says Blade Runner. So it looks like, Chris, what's the score for Blade Runner?
16.
16! Oh my God!
16.
And Kevin, how many for Dark City?
It was like 4.
2.
Oh, geez, even worse than that.
2.
Good Lord.
16 to 2. Kevin didn't even feel like taking count mattered at this point, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I think more of you need to see Dark City.
Yeah, that's going to be the one thing that we take away from this.
And you know what?
Is
I don't know if
Blade Runner.
I don't know if I'm an idiot or something because my heart's broken. I can't believe it got blown out that badly. Wow.
Kevin, I don't think it's that well known, unfortunately. I think it falls into the realm of Titan AE and things like that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
All right.
It is what it is.
Well, let's move along.
Yep, we got to move quickly, guys, because we're running out of time. We're burning daylight here.
Yeah, let's move along here.
Next film.
To end depression. Okay, here we go. Next one, we're going to go with time travel, science fiction time travel. And for this, we're going to do Back to the Future and Planet of the Apes.
The original, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Charlton Heston.
All right. Chris, do you want to weigh in on either of these?
Back to the Future. I'll take a little Back to the Future action here.
Kevin,
Back to the Future.
If one thing we ever learn from this is smaller images.
Oh, sure.
I can't do Planet of the Apes either, so we only have one image. I'm sorry, everybody. We just have
At
Back
least
to
we
the
know what it
Future
looks
up on the screen. I'm actually going to take it down too because I don't think that's fair. So we're doing Planet of the Apes versus Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Again, this is one of those movies I got to go watch with my brother at the Core Theater. I remember this is the first movie that I remember really well and gone back to see more than once in the theater because I enjoyed it so much. I hadn't seen a lot about time travel before then. I thought it was really cool, and I didn't really understand a lot of it because I was, kid. I love the movie. I love Doc is great, and he's still one of my favorite characters in any movie ever made, especially when it comes to anything science fiction. I love just the opening shot of just all the different clocks and all the stuff happening. I thought that was super cool. And it's like it really set you in the mood for a science fiction movie. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. The fact, I was as a kid, I was like hoping. I was like, he didn't go to the future. It says the future's in the title. Where was that? And so they fixed it with the second one. But so I was like, but it was cool. Going back to the 50s, kind of a boring time. But
jeez.
Well, for a kid, nowadays I appreciate it a lot more. As I've grown, the movie's really grown on me, and I really love it. And I'm one of those person that loved the third one. I love Back to the Future Part 3. It's probably one of my favorite ones out of all three of them.
Johnny Be Good. You gotta love that Johnny Be Good song.
So
yeah, and it's so a huge fan of it, and huge fan. I other than time travel, I don't know how it can really compete against Planet of the Apes. Two totally different movies, but
right. Real quick on Planet of the Apes, and then we're going to get right to the voting because we got to move on from this one. And it doesn't look good for Planet of the Apes, but I'm going to say, Charlton Heston, get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes. Back to the Future had 2 sequels. Planet of the Apes has had 78 sequels. So there's something to be said for that film and what it stated at the time. I know it's a bit dated, but we're talking about a film that has created these enormously intricate, beautiful pieces of science fiction recently, as of the last 5 years, in Planet of the Apes world. They're world building there. They didn't world build in Back to the Future after the third. That was done. In Planet of the Apes, they're world building because they saw potential there to create something fantastical. And they have. And it's been phenomenal. So those of you that are sleeping on Planet of the Apes, I plead you to reconsider, because there is a lot to be seen there. So we're going to go right to the voting. Those that haven't voted yet, please vote. We're doing Back to the Future versus Planet of the Apes. Again, I'm sorry we don't have the images up. I was unable to make those work. It just doesn't work. It's unfair to do one and not the other. So go ahead and cast your votes. Chris, you want to do the Planet of the Apes, and Darren do Back to the Future?
Sure.
Okay. So, Darren, you're going to have a lot of work to do. Andrew says, yesterday all these Blade Runner fans were Dark City fans, then their memories changed. That's great. I love that. Sammy says Back to the Future. Bonnie says Back to the Future. Alexi says Back to the Future. Katie says Back to the Future. Adam says Back to the Future. Katie's mom says Back to the Future. Enrique says Back to the Future. Raphael says Back to the Future. My mom says Back to the Future. My dad says Back to the Future. Austin says Back to the Future. Katie says, Dad says, take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty apes. So that's one for Planet of the Apes. Chris, yeah, thumbs up, buddy. David says, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. I'm assuming that, of course, is Back to the Future. Andrew says Back to the Future. Natasha says those are 2 good ones, going with Back to the Future. Thank you, Natasha. Raphael says nope. TJ Anderson says Back to the Future. Janet says Back to the Future. That's what this group is all about. She's right. Armfall Off Boy says Back to the Future, but Planet of the Apes original is pretty damn good. And Katie says James Whitmore was in the original Planet of the Apes, and my dad worked with him. That's awesome, Katie. Thank you for bringing that up. A little piece of trivia we did not know. So we're going to call this. It's done. Darren, we had 75 votes for Back to the Future?
We had 17.
17.
You know, hey, I love both these movies for different reasons, so can't fault it.
Yeah. Oh, and Maria says Back to the Future. That's 18 votes for Back to the Future. And 1 for Planet of the Apes, correct? Okay. So moving on. Back to the Future wins this round. Moving on to the next round.
These next 3 brackets are going to be way closer, but yeah.
Okay, Here we go. We are going with science fiction action. We're going to go Arnold versus Arnold. Terminator 2 Judgment Day versus Predator.
Hey, it's an image I can put on the screen. Awesome. All right, Predator is on the screen, and now let's see if we can get aliens up there.
Predator's my favorite action movie of all time.
Yep.
I think that this movie is fantastic. If you really think about all the difficulties it presents for itself and then overcomes all of them, there's no plot. There's very little dialogue, but it's awesome. Like, I mean, the pace is breakneck. They establish right away that these are like the toughest guys you ever want to mess with, and the Predator just obliterates all of them, and in multitudes of different ways. Obviously, the quote, the one of the most masculine moments you'll ever see on screen is when Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger do that arm wrestling thing there.
You son of a bitch!
And then when all those bodybuilder guys take their shirts off and start pulling the tree down, I mean, this is just really one of those high masculine energy action films. I think that what's interesting is that's all great when he's killing them all one at a time. But like the final battle between Arnold and the Predator, the way they build it up and everything like that, this is an easy to watch movie for me. Anytime it's on TV, I can get through it without a problem.
Now,
TJ, yes, I was. Good job, TJ.
I'll talk T2, but before I say that, I also love Predator. My brother's name is Dylan, so you can imagine that after this movie, we did that over and over again. Like, Dylan, you son of a bitch. And of course, our biceps were equally as big as Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger. T2 was like, it was a summer blockbuster, wasn't it? Right?
Yes, it was. Came out in July '91 or June.
It was like the summer blockbuster for me. I remember, like, obviously I saw Terminator and loved it, but this movie took that franchise and movie making to like explosive level. As you can see behind me, Mr. Was it Robert Patrick?
Yep. T-1000
was still, we talk about effects that don't hold up. That still holds up. That the liquid metal, that all stuff, that still totally holds up. The fact that we got Arnold, the spin around of now he's the good guy. You went from being terrified of that image to, that's your savior. Come with me if you want to live. But the T-1000 was just unstoppable and unkillable. It was just such a cool chase film. Possible future, once again have to save the future and all that stuff. Edward Furlong had no testicles and he talked like this and he was great. And he was like, "You're a Terminator, right?"
Right.
He was super annoying, yet you were like okay with it because he was supposed to be annoying.
And Vasquez played his stepmom from Aliens.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But just that's right. Yeah, Aliens, Vasquez. We'll get to that one. A hell of a film, and just so much fun. Like another, testosterone fueled blood, but guns firing on all.
What a great story! A great story for T2.
Yeah.
Well, also too, the idea that about Terminator 2 that I find really interesting is the robot Arnold being a father figure to Edward Furlong. I thought that was a really interesting kind of twist to an otherwise it's your standard issue thriller. Yeah, it's shot like a James Cameron movie, so obviously it's going to be epic in every way. But I really like that relationship. They never go over the top with it. They never make it too genuine, and it works.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so let's get into the voting, guys.
Jean-Claude Van Damme supposed to? I think he was the Predator originally. I think he was.
I was just going to say who is. Oh, you ruined my trivia question.
I'm sorry.
Who was the original stand-in for the Predator? It was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right. Jarrett, check your phone.
Yeah.
And everybody, we're going to go to the voting now. So, Chris, we'll have you do Predator, and Darren will have you do T2. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, we already got a lot of votes coming in, so let's get started on that. David says, can Back to the Future go back-to-back champion? Well, we'll find out, David. Adam says Predator. So that's one for Predator, Chris. Bonnie says T2. Sammy says, wait, Aliens. I think I confused her. Sorry, Sammy. TJ says, Donald, are you making an Alien versus Predator joke? Which I was. Thank you for picking up on that. Janet says the wrong movie. Sorry, Janet, I confused you. Adam says Predator did a good job of making the audience feel the anxiety of the character. Janet, if you want to vote T2 versus Predator, please feel free to do so. Katie says Terminator 2. Alexi says T2. Katie says Mom says T2. Katie's dad says Predator. Raphael says Predator. Alexi says T2 special effects were groundbreaking. You are absolutely correct. Andrew says T2. Enrique says I do love them both, but I'll have to go with Predator. Sammy says T2. Chicago Rob. Hey, Rob. Rob says Predator. Janet says Terminator 2. Thank you, Janet, for popping that in. Natasha says T2. Arm Fall Off Boy says T2. Austin says 2 votes for T2. Maria says T2. My mom says T2. And David says Predator. So where are we sitting, guys?
All right, so I have 12 votes for Terminator 2. I just got 3 in from the Manels for Terminator 2, giving it 15.
Predator has 7.
I don't think Predator's going to come back from this, and that's a real shame because I do love Predator so much. I think, honestly, if I had to rewatch these two, I would go Predator any day of the week, and I'll tell you why. While T2 has groundbreaking effects, they're still going to eventually, they already are, and they're going to get worse as far as dating them. Predator is all practical makeup, costume, things like that. It's in the jungle. It's a suspense that kind of kills you, the not knowing. I love that about that film. So I'm sorry to see Predator go. Oh, my mom says Dad said Predator, so last minute Predator. So that's nice. Thank you, Dad. But it's still not going to do it. We're going to move on from this. Terminator 2 is taking Predator down. Absolutely.
That's my new punk band name too. Last Minute Predator.
All right, so what we're going to go to next is we're going to go to science fiction monsters, and for this battle we have Jurassic Park versus Aliens.
Okay, Jurassic
Kevin?
Park versus Aliens.
Huh.
If just
Feel
one
free
of
to
you can make a
comment,
comment, if just one of you can make a comment, we really need to move on. We don't have time for everybody to comment. So, Kevin, you're going to make the comment on both, okay?
Yeah, Aliens, great sequel to Ridley Scott's Aliens. Is little different. Where Alien was kind of like more of a compressed area on a spaceship, and it's more of a horror sci-fi film. Where Aliens is this all-out war against a bunch of the alien species. Towards the end of the movie with the mother Queen Alien going against Ripley and that famous line, "Get away from her, you bitch!" It's crazy.
Space Marines.
Yes, the Space Marines. Bishop, the android, little twist there. This time the android's actually helpful, trying to help the humans and not trying to set them up for destruction. And Jurassic Park, what can you say? The first time you see realistic looking dinosaurs, well, I guess we've never seen a dinosaur before in real life, but dinosaurs on the cinematic screen looked awesome. Samuel Jackson, Jeff Goldblum, great cast. Sam Neill, can't go wrong there. And the first one, to me, is the best one. All the other sequels are so-so. The first one is the best.
Okay, so we're going to get started on the voting now, since we've already started this. My mom says Jurassic Park. So, Kevin, you do Jurassic Park. Jarrett, if you could do Aliens, that'd be great. Let's see. Natasha says Jurassic Park. Andrew says Jurassic Park. Bonnie says, damn, 2 different movies, of course. Austin says 2 votes for Jurassic Park. TJ Anderson, Jurassic Park, but Aliens is great. If you had to put the original Alien instead, my vote would have been flipped. Interesting, TJ. I don't think I would have done it. I think Aliens, I don't know. It's more fun. Katie says, Katie's asking, Aliens is in the sequel? Yes. My dad says Jurassic Park. Enrique says Aliens. Raphael says Aliens. Katie says Mom and Dad says Aliens, so it's 2 more for Aliens. Katie says Jurassic Park. Janet says Jurassic Park. Sammy says Sexy Goldblum, so we know where that's going. Alexei says so tough, but again, Jurassic Park because it was brand new and the special effects were the pinnacle of mechanical SFX. You're right, Alexei, it's very good. Bonnie says Jurassic Park. David says clever girl. Sammy says can't watch Aliens anymore. The stomach seemed traumatized me. Chicago Rob says Aliens. Excellent choice, Rob. Sammy says, oh, wrong movie. Ha, 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 but still. You're right, Sammy. I get it. And Janet says, hello, laughing my ass off. Sammy, that sexy Goldblum. And Sammy says her vote stands. So any last-minute votes coming in? Maria, I believe, voted for Jurassic Park. So we have one more. Where are we standing on the votes, gentlemen?
Jurassic Park, I have 11.
Aliens is 5. I think that's it.
I have 1 for Aliens and 2 for Jurassic Park.
Okay, yeah. And we have another in the chat for Aliens. So Aliens doesn't look like it's going to win this one.
No.
I don't think we're going to count anymore. Let's call it Jurassic Park takes Aliens.
All right. Landslide.
And so this is the last of this first seed, correct?
Yeah, this is your last first round matchup. For this one, we're going to go to sci-fi fantasy. And Jarrett, if you would please do a little part to describe The Fifth Element versus District 9.
Fifth Element, Luc Besson, a definite departure from what we, I think he did The Professional right before this, or Joan of Arc, or one of those ones. But just aesthetically, a crazy looking film. I mean, Bruce Willis, what's her name?
Mila
Jovovich. Gary Oldman playing a really whacked out character, which I know is so weird for Gary Oldman in that time.
Chris Tucker plays a whacked out character.
Chris Tucker, yeah. A very imaginative film. Definitely, like, it still stands out to this day. People, it's definitely got a cult following for sure. District 9, to me, one of the most original sci-fi films in the last couple of decades. Like, just the mixture of the robot and then also this guy becoming almost like mixed with an alien was just it was one of those ones I went in not knowing. Like, Fifth Element, I kind of knew what I was going for. District 9, I went in, I was like, I don't know what to expect from this, and I was really blown away. I thought it was a great film, an original script, but I also think Fifth Element is super fun. But me personally, District 9. But I'm not going to say what it was. I just said it.
Okay. I saw Fifth Element in the theater 3 times. That's all I have to say. 3 times, yeah. So everybody that's not voting, you heard a little bit about each film. One is a very quirky comedy sci-fi action film. The other is more of a straight-laced, dramatic sci-fi alien film. They don't quite pair up, but they were both such good science fiction films that we had to have them on the list. So we just paired them together, and this is what you get. So they won't fight each other in the next round, obviously. So your choice on this, The Fifth Element or District 9. Everybody, I'm going to give a very limited amount of time. I'm going to give 30 seconds on this vote. So go ahead and throw in your votes in the chats ASAP because we need that. We are counting down officially now.
I'll tally the District 9 votes.
Well, to be complimentary to District 9, that movie on a worldwide scale got you familiar with a Dutch South African accent. Come here, you little prawn. I mean, it's
Afrikaner accent, yeah.
And the weaponry, and what's also very graphic too. District 9 kind of makes your skin crawl when you watch it.
Keep those coming in, guys. Keep them coming in. We'll go a few seconds past if you're going to keep voting. Keep the votes coming in. We're getting a lot of votes in right now. Let's start counting them, though. Kevin, you look more like a District 9. District 9. That's because Jarrett's favorite. And Jarrett, you're going to be Fifth Element, okay?
That's fun.
So here we go. Wow, a lot of votes. Okay.
Get my fingers ready.
Okay, so Sammy says, oh, hell yes, multi-pass. So Sammy is going for Fifth Element. Bonnie says Fifth Element. Raphael says Fifth Element. Enrique says, damn you, you're killing me, Fifth Element. Sammy says she gave me a kiss on the cheek. Oh. Andrew says District 9. TJ says Fifth Element. My sister says Fifth Element. I don't know if I mentioned that. Darren's mother-in-law says, that's cute, says Fifth Element. One of the best movies ever. Great cast, great art direction, and great music. I could not agree more. Austin says District 9. Janet says Fifth Element. Alexi says District 9. It was like watching real life. Very realistic, Alexi. Yeah. I agree. Yep.
Documentary style.
Air Samurai says, loving the convo. Me too. I'm sorry we're having to move along a little faster now that we're running closer on time. Katie says, my dad says Fifth Element, multi-pass. My mom says Fifth Element. Sammy says she was recording a song at my ex's friend's house. That's gross. Katie says, I say Fifth Element, but who cares? Okay. My dad also says Fifth Element. Arm Fall Off Boy says Fifth Element. Air Samurai says Fifth Element. Katie says Rachel's voting for Fifth Element. David says Fifth Element. Chris Tucker in his prime.
Yeah.
TJ says negative. I'm a Fifth Meat Popsicle. Chicago Rob says Fifth Element. a Satara favorite and mine. I am so happy about that, Rob. Sammy says, did you read my first message, you dork? I met her. Oh, okay. You met Melia, I'm assuming is what you mean,
Everyone's
Sammy.
voting for the Captain Planet live-action movie, in a way.
How many Fifth Elements do we have, Jarrett?
Too many.
18.
Okay. There's no question. I don't know if I said Maria said Fifth Element as well, but she did. So just put a nail in the coffin. We have never seen an annihilation like this. Fifth Element, I am so happy, guys.
Dark City.
It is one of my favorite science fiction films of all time, and to see it succeed as well as it has, I'm extremely happy. So we're going to move on from there, and we're going to the next seed. Now, this is going to move faster, everybody. Yeah, the next round.
We're just going to go straight votes.
The Manel's also 3 for Fifth Element. Okay, so we're in the second round here.
Wow.
We're going to take the winner of sci-fi comedy, which is Galaxy Quest, which was a Supreme Court vote, versus RoboCop, which was a 10-9 vote and is from science fiction, satire, social commentary. So go ahead and go with Galaxy Quest or RoboCop. And while I have the microphone, a very happy 47th anniversary to Mike and Marilyn Sullivan, who are watching this tomorrow. Is their 47th anniversary, and they're actively voting as we speak.
Happy
anniversary to you.
Anniversary, yeah.
47 years. Holy.
1974.
Wow.
Godfather
Just a couple of
2.
kids.
My parents were
Just a couple of
Godfather
kids.
2.
My parents were married during Godfather 1. Theirs was married during Godfather 2.
See, there's a reason why you two are together. There you go.
We have Godfather in common. So this ought to be interesting. Galaxy Quest and RoboCop are pretty different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to put a minute on the clock. We're going to go Galaxy Quest versus RoboCop. You guys choose. This is the weirdest combination I've ever seen.
But
And I'm so happy for this.
They're kind of like sci-fi spoofs, the both of them, aren't they, in some ways?
One's just horribly violent.
Yep. Oh, I have to hand crank this clock right now. It's so annoying.
And there's RoboCop.
We've got, it is Dean Parasot, director of Galaxy Quest, versus Paul Verhoeven, director of RoboCop. I don't know. You guys got any predictions? Who's going to win this?
Galaxy Quest ran away with it.
It'll probably be Galaxy Quest. That's my guess.
I don't know. It might come to us.
I'm thinking Galaxy Quest ran away with it so hardcore the first round, and RoboCop had a tight match against a film that we didn't think would do anything. So I think Galaxy Quest is going to take this. I really do. I think
They're
going to go with RoboCop.
One was 9-9, one was 10-9. I mean, this is our two closest votes.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
So we've got 2 seconds left on the clock. We'll wait a couple more seconds while people throw their votes in. While we're counting the votes, you can still vote, guys, so please feel free to do so. Here we go. We're going to start doing them right now. After I find out where I'm at on this. I think I've gone too far.
I'll take RoboCop. Darren, you want to take Galaxy Quest?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So TJ says Galaxy Quest. Sammy says Galaxy Quest. Maria says Galaxy Quest. Enrique says Galaxy Quest. Arm Fall Off Boy says Galaxy Quest. Bonnie says Galaxy Quest. Austin says RoboCop.
Shit, I was just about to leave. Okay, yeah.
Can you fly, Bobby? Says David Denenberg. He's voting RoboCop. Andrew says Galaxy Quest. My mom says Galaxy Quest. My dad says Galaxy Quest. Alexei says RoboCop. Katie says Galaxy Quest. Katie's mom says Galaxy Quest. Katie's dad says Galaxy Quest. My sister says Galaxy Quest. Yeah. My sister says Galaxy Quest. Janet says RoboCop. Raphael says Tono Cop. I think he meant RoboCop. Alexei says strange combination, but Galaxy Quest is a great parody. RoboCop was all anyone talked about globally. Raphael says RoboCop. Alexei says I worked with RoboCop on Last Ship. Oh, that's very cool, Alexei.
Nice.
Andrew says the best Star Trek film ever, Galaxy Quest. So,
hey.
we're not going to go any further. We know who won.
Yeah.
Jared, 3 more votes for RoboCop from the Manels.
Oh, wow.
I don't
All
think
right,
that
here we
matters,
go.
does it?
No, it won't. But it
Okay.
makes it more respectable in defeat. Okay,
That works.
So we've got the next round here. We've got the quirky sci-fi winner, Guardians of the Galaxy, which won in a blowout, against sci-fi noir Blade Runner, which also won in a blowout. So you've got Guardians of the Galaxy versus Blade Runner.
This will be interesting.
Two movies that are very science fiction-y, but are completely different in tone. One is starkly dark looking. The other one is very bright and vibrant. I feel like Bright and Vibrant is doing well on this list so far, and color. That's why Galaxy Quest will be going to the semifinals because of this. It looks like the trend right now, but we could be very surprised.
Vote and vote eagerly. Vote joyfully.
So we have Galaxy Quest versus Blade Runner. Who's voting for which?
This should be fun. This should be
you
fun.
need to be
You
in a
guys-
drastically different mood to enjoy
Throw your
either of
votes
these.
in. Throw your votes in. I've got a vote via text already. Everybody's excited about this one. This is a good matchup, everybody. And if it goes the way I think it's going to go, I'm going to be very happy. And I won't be sleepy at all, Chris. I won't be sleepy one bit. Please,
All right.
please.
I don't know, guys. The score by Vangelis to me is a mind-blowing score in Blade Runner.
Excellent score.
I will often listen to it just on a whim, which is complimentary because not many movie scores can I just listen to without the accompanying picture. But yeah, Vangelis' score, I mean, that's trend-setting stuff there. It really, without that song, you don't think the soundtrack, you just don't think of that movie the same way. Which I think
he was on a roll because before that he did Chariots of Fire and also Midnight Express.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. 60 seconds to cast your vote. Galaxy Quest versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy versus Blade Runner. And
Blade
the thing
Runner.
about
that's what I meant. Sorry.
synthesized film score thing until Vangelis. And I think that's something that, especially with Chariots of Fire, that was really the first time you heard a heavily synthesized score, and it was mind-blowing stuff.
Wasn't The Exorcist kind of a synthesizer too? Kind of?
Who?
The Exorcist? Like that theme? The tubular bells?
It depends kind of how you read into the inspiration of synthesized scores, but it was always taught to me, and look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it was always taught to me Chariots of Fire is really the first film that really blew through with that. And like I said, the music in Blade Runner is a character in the movie practically, which makes it much more memorable.
Especially when you see the shots of the skyline. I mean, it goes perfectly with it.
Chris, I know you want to say something.
Yeah, say something, Chris.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I was just listening to the soundtrack yesterday to Blade Runner. I think it's one of the best. Again, it goes along to I directed a play last year that was cyberpunk, and a lot of my inspiration came from the Blade Runner soundtrack. Just listening to that while I was adapting the play and coming up with the costumes and coming up with just all the design and everything. And so 100%. This is such a hard decision for people to make because they are completely different types of movies. And
great soundtracks on both.
To see where the votes are going to go.
And Vangelis is a Cypriot. Shout out to one of our viewers right now, Alexi, who's also a Cypriot. What's interesting is I watched Oliver Stone's Alexander, Kevin, when we had it at the ArcLight. I really didn't like the movie, but Vangelis' score was fire, man. I don't know why I'm on this Vangelis kick, but I think sometimes he gets for.
I'm asking anybody in the chats, can you hear us podcasting now? Unfortunately, I want to explain. Unfortunately, I want to explain that I am working from a remote location, not my usual spot. And that caused the issue that we had with the shut off of the pod. Just the reception created some type of audio issue or something, and it shut it down. So it's my fault. I'm sorry that I'm not in my usual location. So I do apologize about that. Yeah, it looks like people are commenting, and I can see that, and I see a yes and a yes. So it looks like, yep, it looks like, okay, so it looks like people can hear us. So we're still voting. We're sorry we lost Jarrett based upon time restrictions because this has gone over a bit. So we're still going, but we're going to go ahead and, again, vote Guardians versus Blade Runner. So cast your vote now. I do apologize. It looks like we lost quite a bit of voters in this. So it is what it is. But we are doing Guardians versus Blade Runner. So those of you that have already voted, I'm going to start counting those. So I'm going to go back. Okay, what do we got? Give me a second here. It's a long bit. What people were trying to figure out whether we were there or not. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all right. It's all right. Show business.
Okay, so Alexei says, Kevin, can you do Blade Runner, and Darren, you do Guardians?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Alexei says Blade Runner. David says Guardians. TJ says Guardians. Austin says Guardians. Arm Fall Off Boy says Blade Runner. Maria says Blade Runner. Enrique says Guardians. Bonnie says Guardians. Andrew says Guardians. Raphael says Guardians. Katie says my mom says Guardians. My mother says Guardians. My dad says Guardians. Katie says Guardians. Katie's dad says Blade Runner. Alexi says, hell yeah, Vangelis is a legend. Janet says Blade Runner. My mom says, hey, what happened? Katie says, wondering that too. Bonnie says, thank God it's not just me. Sammy says, oh my God, my internet is sucking right now. Oh yeah, it's us. Sorry, Sammy. David says, stream is broken. Thanks, David, for letting everybody know. Kevin says, should be back up soon. Okay. David says he's a little shocked that Inception isn't on the list. Sorry, David. It didn't make it.
We did talk about that.
It was considered. It was considered, David. So I have a dozen votes for Guardians, Kevin. What do you have?
I have like 6 votes for Blade Runner.
Okay.
I'm trying to, there's a lot of conversations. So I'm trying to get through that here.
Sort through it. Good. Yeah, so far it looks like Galaxy. We probably could take a quick, a few more looks in the comment section, but it's looking pretty good for Galaxy right now.
David says Wall-E comes to mind for animated movies, but I guess it doesn't fit in. Bonnie says I still think Iron Giant deserves a shot. Janet says we have like 3 more votes for something like that. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Sammy says Guardians. I don't know if we counted that or not.
13.
Raphael says Guardians. Janet says Blade Runner.
14.
And Jarrett is now in the chat since he's not hosting. He says Guardians.
All right, that's 15 for Guardians.
All right, so we'll count that, Jarrett. So it looks like Blade Runner lost.
Opposite side here, second round matchup. The time travel winner, Back to the Future, against the action sci-fi winner, Terminator 2.
That's a good matchup.
It's a very good matchup. It's very nostalgic. Now, if you remember, Terminator franchise flunked out to the Back to the Future in the franchise battle. Something that I found to be a rather egregious result. But hey, here we are again, Back to the Future versus Terminator 2. 2 very highly watchable movies. 2 completely different tones. 2 completely different looks. One very bright and vibrant. One very kind of muted gunmetal-y gray kind of. So yeah, I think it should be very interesting.
Okay, Back to the Future versus Terminator 2. Let's do this.
I'll take T2 as far as counting the votes on that one.
I'll take Back to the Future.
Okay. Everybody cast your vote ASAP. We're going to go 60 seconds on the clock.
Dead air.
I'm actually
here we
curious.
go. We are counting down now. Go ahead and cast your votes.
Alrighty.
All right, Chris.
Actually, I know what's going to win.
Chris, I know you're grinning over there about Back to the Future.
No, actually, I really don't know who I'd pick on this one. I love Back to the Future, but I really love T2 as well. God, I love both movies so much. I don't know how I would choose if this was me in the audience.
Imagine there's like a crossover movie between the two. Yeah, the DeLorean go to like 2029, whatever, when the whole war starts. That'd be kind of funny.
You know what I'm slightly jealous about is that my younger brother owns the Terminator 2 version that has the theatrical version only. That the additional scenes have been added to almost every version that's been released, and I like the original better.
You know, I love the special edition. I like some of the additional stuff that they put back in.
Okay. Time is officially up. Any last minutes while we go through, please feel free to throw those in. You can still vote. We're counting the votes right now. Chris, you're going to do Back to the Future. Darren, you'll do Terminator 2, okay?
All right.
Okay, my mom says, what happened to Jarrett? Well, Jarrett disappeared, Mom. He had to go.
He's in the comment section, apparently.
Enrique says he can hear us. Thank you, Enrique. That's great. And Sammy says, no need to apologize. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Guardians, Blade Runner, Guardians. Okay, so starting out with Sammy, we have Back to the Future. Maria says Terminator 2. TJ says, welcome back, guys. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate that. And TJ also says Back to the Future. Raphael says Terminator. Bonnie says Back to the Future. Arm Fall Off Boy says Terminator. Austin says Terminator. My mom says Back to the Future. Andrew says Terminator. Enrique says Terminator. Janet says Back to the Future. Jarrett says Terminator. Katie says all three of us say Back to the Future. So that's 3 votes for Back to the Future.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Well,
David says Terminator 2. Jarrett says it's me, Jarrett. Yay. Arm Fall Off Boy says, who is this Jarrett guy? And then Jarrett said, my wife threatened divorce, so he had to get off the podcast. So that happens. So right now, and my sister also says Back to the Future. So where are we sitting?
9 for Back to the Future.
Well, currently I've counted 8 for Terminator. I just got 3 votes from the Manels for Terminator, so that's 11 for Terminator.
So we might have a Supreme Court.
My dad says Back to the Future.
Right, that's 10.
Okay.
10 to 11 right now?
Yeah.
10 to 11. So Back to the Future needs 1 more vote to tie, and Terminator needs 1 more vote to win. So anybody that wants to vote for one or the other has not voted yet. You have 20 seconds to do so. On the clock, 20 seconds.
There's also a danger of a double elimination if it comes down to us to decide and we're tied. You know what happens.
Technically, we have Garrett's vote. We could
do have Jarrett's vote. That's true.
True.
We could always take that and put that if we need
Break the tie.
us. Yeah.
10 seconds left, guys. Who's voting? Anybody throwing a vote in? I'm going to check my chats just to make sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. So far I've got 11 Terminator, 10 for Back to the Future. Are we expired, doubled?
I got another vote for T2.
12.
Oh, I got another vote for Back to the Future.
12, 11.
And one of the votes for Terminator. Hang on. 2 of the votes for Back to the Future are rescinded.
Really?
And those 2 votes are going to Terminator 2, apparently. There was a miscommunication.
That's
Wow.
14 to 9.
What's the score right now?
14 to 9.
Terminator 2 winning?
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
we're calling
I
it.
can't
Terminator beat Back to the Future.
I can't believe it. Back to the
I'm
Future.
shocked.
The defending champion from a previous tournament has been defeated.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Oh
And
my.
remember, that trilogy beat Terminator in a complete wipeout. So, yeah, wow.
Revenge
Okay.
is a dish best served Terminator.
Oh.
So let's go to our last quarterfinal. We have the winner of the Sci-Fi Monsters, Jurassic Park versus Sci-Fi Fantasy, The Fifth Element.
Oh my God. Oh my God, people. Choose correctly. Choose correctly. You gotta choose correctly.
Look, I don't want to say it too. How can I simply say this? The 90s is killing it right now in sci-fi movies. Okay, on this list, the 90s is absolutely killing it. We already have.
Let me just make one image slightly larger than the other.
We have Galaxy Quest already advancing to the semis. Guardians of the Galaxy has advanced. We have Terminator 2, and we're going to have either Jurassic Park or Fifth Element advancing to the semis. That's 3 films from the 90s out of 4.
Uh-oh. We're starting to get... Come on, guys. You got to choose correct here. We're starting to get a landslide.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I don't know. I'm curious what this landslide will say. You know, are people kind of overdone with Jurassic Park, or will the Fifth Element be exposed for the fraudulent, crappy film that it is?
My sister hates me. I don't know what I did to you. What did I do to my sister? My own sister.
Donald, it has Luke Perry in it. It wasn't going to get votes, okay?
Luke Perry has passed on. God rest his soul. You should vote just for that alone. That's a sympathy vote right there.
Nice sympathy vote.
Okay, I'm trying. All right, guys, we're going to do 60 seconds on the clock here, and then we're going to move on. So your vote matters. 60 seconds on the clock. And go. This is Jurassic Park versus the Fifth Element. Your vote decides it.
I'm kind of intrigued. Did any of you guys read the Jurassic Park novel?
Oh, I did. I did twice.
I heard it's good. I heard Michael Crichton's novel's good.
Yeah, they have a really cool scene where they are that's not in the movie, where they're like fighting pterodactyls under a waterfall, which I really thought was really cool. I wish that would have been in the movie. I actually read it. I think I read it before the movie came out.
You know, Chris, what always stuck out to me, I read the novel one time, is that Hammond is killed in the novel. That kind of blew me away, because we now think of Richard Attenborough as this great character in the film, and he actually doesn't make it out of the novel.
Wait.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say mom, or are you trying to say wow?
No, I'm talking about the Fifth Element, as in, it's so good. Wow.
Don't try to sway the votes. Don't manipulate the audience.
We have the smartest audience on the internet. They do not need manipulated, sir.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, T2.
Don't tamper with the witnesses.
All right, I'm going to start counting. The time is up. You can still put in your vote while we're counting the votes, okay?
I'll count Jurassic Park.
Jarrett says, hooray, fuck you, Biff.
Wow.
Okay,
you know what? I met Biff at ArcLight. He's a nice guy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So, Chris, we're going to have you do Jurassic Park, and Darren, we're going to have you do Fifth Element, since you love it so much. Andrew says Jurassic Park. Raphael says Jurassic Park. Janet says Jurassic Park. Bonnie says can't choose. Austin says Jurassic Park. My mother says Fifth Element. My father says Fifth Element. And TJ Anderson says Fifth Element. Arm Fall Off Boy says Jurassic Park. Maria says Jurassic Park. Enrique says Fifth Element. Katie says all 3 votes for Fifth Element. Wow. Jared says Jurassic Park. Sammy says Fifth Element. Bonnie says, okay, I'm going with Fifth Element because Jurassic Park is getting closer to becoming science reality. Jared says Jurassic Park, first movie that made me want to read the book. Jared's already voted, by the way. David says, Fifth Element. Jurassic Park is actually an action movie. There, I said it. So, Fifth Element for David. Sammy says, ha ha ha, Donald goofball, I know. Andrew says, I can hum 4 notes and make you remember Jurassic Park. That's true. TJ says Evil Dead. And Katie says, clever, clever Donald, turning your mom's sign into a wow. I'm impressed with your creativity. Thank you. That's actually, it was more Kevin, I think, than me, but I just took hers, or Maria's. I can't remember. I think it was Maria. Arm Fall Off Boy says, I don't think Donald should be counting this round. Well,
he's not.
What? I'm not counting at all. What's the votes, gentlemen? What do we got?
Got 7 for Jurassic Park.
I have 10 for Fifth Element, and I have to add the Manels 3 votes for Fifth Element, so that's 13.
I also have I also have an additional vote for Jurassic Park through the text message.
13-8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Steep hill to climb.
We're calling it. Jurassic Park lost to The Fifth Element. This is amazing. I love my audience. They're the best.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Oh my God. Wow.
All right, folks. Semifinals. We have 3 more matchups, and this will be included. We've got Galaxy Quest versus the Guardians of the Galaxy. Galaxy Quest, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow, that's going to be a really tough one. I knew this one was coming, too.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
You know, Galaxy Quest, I really think over time, it has been treated even better than when it came out. I think people really, truly appreciate the brilliance of the satire in there. Because that's what I'm seeing. Like, a lot of circles of people that are, really big movie fans, they always gloat about Galaxy Quest. So I guess it's good that we gave it some love here this evening.
Okay, so bringing Guardians of the Galaxy versus Galaxy Quest. There's some Galaxy love in here. Guardians of the Galaxy Quest would actually make an incredible sequel for both of those, where they get to meet each other, and I'm all for it, guys. If you agree with me, please let me know in the chat.
But what would Groot do to those people?
What?
What would Groot do to all those people? In
I don't know what Groot would do to all those people.
3 out of the 4 movies remain are very uplifting, highly energetic films. Very colorful, very bright. I think that's an interesting observation that I've picked up looking over all of our films that we're talking about.
Okay. All right, we're getting some votes in. Guys, please vote now. We're going to do 60 seconds on the clock here. And go.
Put your vote in for Dark City.
Andrew says the mail-in votes were rigged. Sorry, Andrew. On that last one. TJ says Galaxy Quest. Kevin, let's have you do Galaxy Quest. Chris, let's have you do Guardians.
Andrew, Jeff Bezos agrees with you.
Raphael says Guardians. Austin says Guardians. Arm Fall Off Boy says Galaxy Quest. David Denenberg says Guardians. Bonnie says Guardians. My mom says Guardians. My dad says Guardians. Jarrett says the one that starts with G. Thanks, Jarrett. Mom says, Katie says her mom says Galaxy Quest. Her dad says Guardians. Enrique says Guardians. Maria says Guardians. Jarrett says actually Guardians. Andrew says Galaxy Quest. Janet says Guardians. Katie says she's having a hard time with this one, but she thinks she'll say Galaxy Quest, so Galaxy Quest. Enrique says Guardians of the Galaxy Quest. Thank you, Enrique. And Sammy says Guardians. So where are we with the votes, gentlemen?
I have 4 for Galaxy Quest.
I have 13 for Guardians.
Kevin, you can add 3, Kevin, for the Manels to Galaxy Quest.
My sister add to Guardians, completely eliminating Galaxy Quest. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be moving on from this.
Yep. Another one from Guardians in text message, so yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Guardians has won that round. Darren, what are we at now?
We have Terminator 2 Judgment Day versus The Fifth Element.
Oh my God, people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Choose correctly. I'm an impartial judge. I can't vote.
You might have to.
I mean, yeah, in the first bracket, it's totally fine for us to be completely objective and non-biased. But as it goes along, we've introduced the movie. We've explained everything about it. We'll just give our thoughts now. I don't know. This is an odd matchup. Two very different movies. One in the fantasy realm. One in the action realm. We will have to see how this one results.
Oh my God, people! Oh.
But I will say this: what? Okay, Donald. Here's a tough question for you.
Yeah.
Deal with it, Donald. Just deal with it.
What is a better theme park attraction, Donald? The Terminator 2 show or the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disney?
The Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disney.
Well, as we know, Donald, it was formerly the Tower of Terror.
And that was actually the best ride at California Adventures. The absolute best. And because creepy comes with the drops and the ups and stuff, it's basically like the Demon Drop, for those of you that know, like Geauga Lake, Cedar Point kind of stuff. Jekyll and Hyde's Epic Drop, or whatever they called it there. Always the one where they bring in the cage and then they drop you from the top. That was basically...
Mr. Hyde's Nasty Fall.
Yeah, that was basically what it was. But with this one, with this particular one, Tower of Terror, they would bring you up and drop you and then bring you right back. They would shoot you back up. And there would be an open thing where you would like see outside. But before that, you would see all these 3D images of these ghosts and stuff getting closer to you. Super creepy and great. And then they just decided to get rid of all of it and go with Guardians. And they made it this fun, like, oh, each floor is a different like spaceship thing or whatever. And it's cool, don't get me wrong. If I'd never seen Tower of Terror, I'd love Guardians. But, you know, it is what it is. I still say Guardians over the Terminator, which was just a show with some special effects and kind of not my thing.
Yeah, you know, I actually went to the Tower of Terror at Disney World the summer it opened.
Okay, guys, we're going to give you 30 seconds on the clock to vote. And while we're doing that, we're going to start counting these votes, everybody. Are you guys all ready? This is not looking good. Okay, let's see, where are we at?
I'll do T2. I'll count those T2 votes.
Okay, so Raphael says Terminator. Kevin, let's have you do the Terminator. Darren, let's have you do the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Raphael says Terminator. TJ says Fifth Element. Austin says Terminator. Maria says Fifth Element. My mom says Fifth Element. My dad says Fifth Element. Janet says Fifth Element. Arm Fall Off Boy says T2. David says T2. Sammy says Fifth Element for the win. Katie says Fifth Element. Katie's mom says Fifth Element. Katie's dad says Fifth Element. Enrique says Fifth Element. Andrew says T2. Jarrett says T2. Bonnie says I love them both, but I'm going with Fifth Element. Chicago Rob says Galaxy Quest. You're a little late, Rob. Sorry. And Jarrett says he votes for Tower of Terror, which is a good vote, Jarrett, but not where we need to be. So where are we at vote-wise on this, gentlemen?
I got another vote through a text message for mine, so I have 7 votes for T2.
Okay, add 3 from us, Kevin, so that's 10. I have 11 for Fifth Element.
So Fifth Element is winning by 1. We're going to put 20 seconds on the clock. Anybody that has not voted has 20 seconds to vote.
Please send this to the Supreme Court for final decision.
Please do. I eagerly await.
Oh, yes.
Anybody that's voting. My sister actually just texted and said Fifth Element.
Ah, shoot.
That's 12.
Damn it.
So, unless we can get 2 in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Rob says Fifth Element at the last second. So, Fifth Element for the win. It beats Terminator 2! I love it.
Yeah. You gloat all you want, Donald.
Oh my God, let me eliminate 2-2 and put in the... Oh my God, look at that. I'm going to put this image right over the faces of Kevin and Darren right now. There we go. Perfect.
This is what the bracket looks like, people. And for the final matchup...
This is great.
Guardians of the Galaxy and the Fifth Element.
This is a great matchup, guys. I am very proud of everybody in the chat right now.
I guess Bruce Willis will be very proud tonight.
Versus Guardians.
I can't believe this. Chris, can you believe this?
No? Well, actually, yeah, when I saw the brackets this morning, I was like, I know our audience, Fifth Element's going to make it far. So on that end, yeah, I can. On the Guardians of the Galaxy, not so much, but
Fifth Element is basically like the Evil Dead of this particular tournament. Yeah. Dead did so well in that.
How far it's made it. Yeah, it's really gone far.
The Fifth Element and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow.
Jarrett said he got a bunch of texts from a bunch of orphans again. Well, I don't think that's going to work again, Jarrett.
Stuff in the ballot box, yes.
Okay, so, Sammy, is that vote from your sister on this current vote or the last vote? I need to know that, please, if you could.
The championship.
Versus Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, we can't leave any dead air here, guys.
No, we can't. We absolutely cannot. We got to keep going on this. We're going to go 1 minute on the time on the clock here. I'm sorry. I've run errant in my duties here, or whatever you want to say.
Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich versus Zoe Saldana, Batista, Chris Pratt,
Vin Diesel,
Bradley Cooper.
I mean, what makes it a really hard comparison is you can't compare 1996 CGI to 2014 CGI. And also, too, like, Fifth Element had roughly like a $40 million budget, as I recall, and Guardians was over $200 million. So, like, obviously, like, the resolution is going to be clearer with digital and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. You got to heavily rely on the stories and characters on this one.
Well, there's a lot of costuming involved, too, with the Fifth Element, which I think does it a huge favor, particularly with some of the aliens and stuff. I think works really well. I think that they're both very evenly matched. And actually, as I said, I am completely happy, very satisfied with this choice for the final round, because it does show the quirkiness of Guardians of the Galaxy being a funny science fiction film with the quirkiness of the Fifth Element, which is a very funny science fiction film. So it's a perfect pairing, and it does show that our audience leans towards comedy and quirkiness when it comes to their science fiction, when it comes to their films. Now, one question I'm going to pose after the vote, and you guys all remind me that I'm going to pose this question because it's going to be an important question, so remind me of that. We have run out of time on the vote. We're going to put 20 seconds left up on the clock, and we're going to do that for those that want to throw in their last second vote while we count the votes to tally it up. Who would like to tally Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'll do it.
And who would like to tally the Fifth Element?
I'll do it.
Okay. All right. So, Enrique says, my dog says Fifth Element. So Enrique says Fifth Element. Raphael says Guardians. TJ Anderson says Fifth Element. Andrew says Godfather 3. Wait, I mean Guardians. Austin says Guardians. Janet says the Fifth Element. Bonnie says the Fifth Element. Katie says the Fifth Element. My dad says Guardians. Jarrett says, don't ignore the orphans, Donald. Katie says her dad says Guardians. Her mom says Fifth Element. My mom says Fifth Element. Arm Fall Off Boy says Guardians. Enrique says Fifth Element. Jarrett says Guardians. Sammy's sister says Fifth Element. David says Guardians. And on a serious note, please kill the call-in votes. Rob says Fifth Element. And Arm Fall Off Boy says agree on kill the comment votes, I think, Colin. And my sister says Guardians. And Maria says Fifth Element. So where are we at officially, gentlemen?
I got one in from text message. So I have 10 for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have 12 plus 3 via text messages. That's 15 for Fifth Element.
Wow.
Okay. So 15 for Fifth Element versus 10 for Guardians?
Yeah.
So we need 5 more votes to tie this up. Anybody that has not voted, please do so. I will put 30 seconds on the clock to allow that.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a ladder to climb for
honestly, I would never have expected these to be the final two, and I would never expect Fifth Element to be the heavyweight winner on this. And I
expected one of them to make it.
I'm completely
I thought Guardians
thrown away. Like So, David, you're talking about the call-in votes. Are we talking about people that are
texting us, or
are we talking about people that are texting us and messaging us, or are we talking about people in the chats that are saying their mother and father are voting as well? Keep in mind that we do have a few people that are not technologically deficient, but they might not have the best, so to speak, like
Wi-Fi,
yeah, connectivity and stuff. So I tend to give them a little bit of room for that, particularly because we know these people, they're people's parents and stuff. So we try to keep it pretty reasonable. And Sammy with her sister, she's voted in the past, so we do keep that in mind. So always think about that too. Now, if it's somebody saying my cousin votes for this, then we're not going to count that. That's not something you know what I mean? It's like we want to keep it tight into people that continuously vote and do this often. So I am sorry if it's causing an issue, but we will work on that and see, we'll get together and see what works. Rob says The Fifth Element.
We want to encourage participation.
Right. David does bring a good point. He says be present to vote, and I agree. But again, I want to say that some people have poor reception, like myself, which dropped the entire podcast right now, or earlier today.
And these votes come in also very quickly. They don't come in while Donald's reading them. We just make sure to mention them secondarily, just so we're a little transparent about how we get them.
Okay, subtract 1 Fifth Element vote.
So we still had 15 to 10.
Okay. David says it's fair. I still love it, and we'll keep watching. Thank you, David. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And my mom says +2 are watching. I can guarantee you guys that my parents are real people. My mother and father do vote independently, so they will be voting separately on there. And I do apologize if that causes an issue, but I love my parents, and so what?
And it's his mom's birthday.
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say.
They also have a big head start on us on science fiction films they've seen in their lifetime. What's interesting is some of these films, especially from the 60s and 70s, they're alive and well while these were coming out.
Yeah.
Which brings a very interesting perspective. Something like...
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Also bless them for staying up till 12:42 a.m. East Coast time with us.
Yeah, so thank you guys. I really appreciate that, honestly. The Fifth Element won, everybody. Fifth Element is the absolute winner of this podcast. Now, the question I'm going to pose to the audience real quick before we call it an evening, because it's been a long evening, and I'm so sorry. The next time we do these, we'll do them much, much faster, I can guarantee. But this was an important one. If Star Wars, the second one, The Empire Strikes Back, which is the strongest of the series, arguably by anybody that will comment, they usually say the second one. If Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was put in this podcast, would you put it as the winner against The Fifth Element? Would you put it as the winner against every other film in this podcast? Let me know your thoughts on that. You can go ahead in the chat section, go ahead and let us know.
That's a very tough question, jeez.
Sammy says Star Wars always wins, so that's a good indication from Sammy that says Star Wars would have taken it.
I'm kind of like looking back at this. I really like the variety we have here.
Okay. All right. So Raphael says yes. Andrew says yes. Arm Fall Off Boy says yes. TJ says yes without a doubt. David says yes. My dad says yes. So we're having a very strong response to Star Wars being the absolute winner if it had been in. What's that, Chris?
I said I'd probably vote the exact same way.
Would you? Yeah.
Everybody else is, and it's just I don't know. It's just you think sci-fi and it automatically Empire Strikes Back pops in your head. It's
Katie,
the very first thing.
So far, Katie's the only one that says she'd pick Fifth Element. Jarrett says all the orphans are dead, died from a broken heart, 52 little adorable dead on beating heart. Thanks, Jarrett. That's terrible. Yeah, you're terrible. Bonnie says I always want to try to be objective when it comes to Star Wars versus anything that said it probably would have won for me. All right, well, that's it. I think we've got our answer. The Fifth Element wins the ultimate sci-fi showdown. Woot woot. I'm very surprised, to be honest. But thank you, everybody, for listening and for tuning in. Chris, thank you for being our special guest on this and being the deciding factor right off the bat. That was fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank you, Chris.
We'll be doing this next week. We'll be doing another podcast. We will announce what that podcast will be in a day or two. We've been working on some really cool ideas.
I think you'll like it.
Right. And with that, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and an entire host of other podcasts. If you don't find us, reach out to us, let us know, and we will put those up immediately. We'll get it done. Please, we do this every week, or we try to, for the live podcast here on YouTube, so please seek us out. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can always find us and comment and talk to us on there with our images and chats. My mom says goodnight. Arm Fall Out Boy says thanks, everybody. Sammy says goodnight. Mom says love you, son. Love you, Mom. Thank you again. Happy birthday. And thank you all for tuning in and for responding to us here on the Real Short Box. And again, to Chris Turner. And we'll go, Mom, birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Mom. We appreciate it. We appreciate you for tuning in. You and Dad have been troopers. And everybody else. We love you all. Have a good night. Thank you. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon,
we'll see you at the sweet, precious, camaraderie-loving comic book shop.
Good night, everybody. Kevin's drunk.